So, how do you think the week's going so far?
This week?
This week?
Not how I expected.
Why?
Because for some reason you're ahead this week.
For some reason, I'm ahead this week.
For some reason.
For some reason, I love that.
Second is that no one is playing hardly, which I kind of anticipated, but I didn't realize how many days they combine they get off. Like
Yeah,
almost every single team's off. I didn't realize that was a thing. So there's that. I figured there would be at least like a few. Um, the good thing is though that when I look at mine, I didn't feel like I had to uh, drop that pitcher that played like ass last week, Hunter Brown,
did he do
or
better
like
this
week.
week?
Oh yeah, much better.
Did he?
Yeah,
Good. Is that why you're ahead by 200 points?
he got 22 points this week.
I mean, that's not
So a
bad.
lot better than I anticipated, considering Hunter Brown would played like absolute dog doo doo the day of the week before.
He lost
The
you
game before.
39 points last
Yeah,
week.
I know.
Like
He's
that's
probably he's probably going to be gone because Verlander's coming back on Saturday.
well, yeah. I mean, you do you, okay? You do you. See how Verlander pitches for the first game, and then go from there. Because it's his
Yeah,
first
but I need to
game
open a
back.
spot then.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You need to open a spot for him. Drop your weakest link. Go for it from there. But
Weakest link is Hunter Brown.
oh well, then okay, fine. Just let him go. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to. What we left off saying last time was we were going to talk about results of last week today, and
Right.
currently there's only one undefeated person in our league, Ethan. He is 3-0. Well, it's if he continues how he's going, he's going to be 21-2. If everything is playing as his projections are, he's going to be the top dog. He's going to be the number one. He's going to be tied with the kid for number one spot, number one seed. They're both going to be 21-2 if they both continue to play the way they're playing. If
Yeah, but last week he should have won, but did not.
the kid,
Yes.
yeah, that's true.
He was
And
projected to win, but he did not.
yeah, he was predicted to win and he didn't. Which, I mean, Ethan right now is barely holding on to a lead. He took it over from Rose. So, right there, we're going to see how they do the next couple of days. I was already looking at the schedule ahead of it. Rose has more pitchers than Ethan does. So, there's a chance that Rose will take that lead back that he was holding on to, and then Ethan will no longer be undefeated. He'll be 3-1.
I really doubt that though.
I I don't know. I'm the same guy that says that Shane is going to beat Blue, and he barely got actually a 50-point lead right now. He was actually 14 points ahead all day, and then he just got all random boost of points. So without that lift, Blue was actually going to be tied with Shane going into day 5 of the week, which is not good for a guy who's trying while one doesn't care about lineups.
Right.
That's not good.
No.
And then I'm still gonna be slated to be third. I took that spot, and you're actually right behind me now. So as things are projected and playing, like I'm 2-1, you're 1-2. If you continue playing how you're playing, you're gonna be what is it, 12-11, while I'm going to be 15-8. The next teams behind us with different records is projected. Shane is gonna be 7-16. Rose will be 6-17, and Mirith will be 9-14. Blue is projected to lose every match except the one that he has won. projected to lose every match except for the one that he has already got a victory on, which that's bad. That's really bad. We'll have to see how this week goes. And if you consider it, of all things, you're the number one person for points against. You've had the least amount of points against you all 3 weeks so far. You're at a 1654 with Rose at 1669 and then I'm 1771. So like close, no cigar. Weird. Yes. And then when it comes to points for, Ethan's number one. He's got 2,078 points. I'm number two, 2005. You are sixth with 1,687. You've won one game. I mean, this week's looking pretty good for you for points so far.
And I was supposed to win last week, too.
Yeah, by 15, if I remember right.
Something like that.
Let me actually grab the predictions because I have it in chat. Week 3 predictions. You were supposed to come away with that by 6 points. That is not how that turned out.
No, not at all. According to the breakdown for totals, Hunter Brown cost me 30 the most points.
Yeah.
Because he only had one start.
Minus 39, right? In one outing.
And Aaron Judge got no points.
Well, because you had him benched. That one day he had like 20-some points.
Yeah, but that's one day, though.
So he got no points besides that one day.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
He lost points, actually. The total points he gained was 0 that week.
Good thing you benched him. Good thing you benched him because you didn't gain, you didn't lose. You stayed even. But that's not good. Like, I beat you by a grand total of almost 100 points. You were supposed to win by 6. I was pretty close to the score that I was projected to get.
Not that I see. You won by 100 and
109. 109.
Yeah, 109.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, 113.
624 to 733, right?
625 to 738.
Oh, I need to update the scores then.
Yeah.
So okay, I need to go back through and update some of those scores then, because I have 733 and 624. You know, 2 half dozen one, 6 of the other. So,
yeah.
And Blue lost by 140. Mirith won over the Kid by 100, and then Rose absolutely slew Shane by 200 points, 230, which is insane. That's your current lead against Mirith right now, isn't it? 230.
I think it's a little less than that now. It is 220 points. Is what my lead is.
So you're
right now.
Just barely. The difference between what Rose and Corey had last week, Rose and Shane had last week, is what you have currently between Mirith and you. And there's still 4 games left. Well, 4 days. Tomorrow doesn't count. It's a minimal game day. There's a break for the league. I think this is the only week there's one of those. Next week there's no break week or no break day. So it's straight games the whole week.
Because there are series of 4 next week.
Is that what it is? Series of 4?
Yeah.
So there's
some series of 4. Some of them have it. Some don't. So there's going to be still a couple that are off.
So if you keep,
but not that.
If you keep playing how you're playing, you're going to go pretty far in the league, and that third place might turn into like second or first. We'll see.
Yeah.
And like just saying, recaps from last week. My pitchers had 5 wins. I was tied with you for having 5 wins. Mirith's pitchers had 6. Ethan's had 2. So did Shane's. Blues had 3. Rose had 3. So like everyone had roughly the same amount of wins last week. A pretty decent balance of losses as well in there. The average strikeout that our teams recorded was 57 amongst the entirety. And the amount of walks, the person with the least amount of walks with their pitchers was Rose, followed by Shane. That were actually recorded that gave him points. Or took away points, sorry. Took away points. And the earned runs, Mirith had 39 earned runs. I had 29. You had 34. And the kid had 36.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a week of
I
earned
don't
runs, man.
know. I don't know what's going on with him this week either.
It's the pitchers. They're not giving him the same amount of points that he's been earning. I mean, if you pull up just on like
Bednar gave 6 away.
yeah, and like Tarek Skubal, he pitched 1 inning, or he pitched 6 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs. He earned him 30 points because he gave up 5 hits. He had a walk. So he's losing a decent amount of points there from the amount of runs he's been giving up. And then Bednar lost 6. Iglesias actually got the save, so he earned points there. If we look at yesterday, though, Yusei Kikuchi actually earned him 41. And Iglesias got another save. Hunter Green only earned him 21. And Munoz earned him 11. So, like, his pitchers aren't tallying up very well to mine when Ranger Suarez gave me 64 points yesterday. And then my batters were fielding support like crazy as well on top of that. And the previous day, my batter's just going off. The only pitcher I had that pitched was Kimbrel. He gave me 14, while Nick Martinez gave him 21, and he had no run support. He had no batting assistance the entire day. So it's like our discussion we had last week, right? Where you said pitchers were a little bit overpowered for point totals.
It's starting to level out now.
Starting to level out because people are going ham and kicking butt, which I like that they're doing that because it means that the games are becoming more even.
Right. And I'm honestly surprised too that it leveled out.
Are you?
But yeah, I'm surprised.
Well, I mean, did you see
going to be more?
You see the Cubs game yesterday?
No.
It ended in extra innings yesterday.
Wasn't it 13 innings or something?
Tuesday the 16th. Cubs 11, Diamondbacks 12 in the 10th inning. The Orioles 11-3 over the Twins in the 9th inning. The Guardians 10-7 over the Red Sox. They played till the 11th inning. They got a massive 10th inning, it looks like. Or in the 11th. Yeah, in the 11th, sorry. Like, some of these teams are starting to go off and starting to get a lot of hits, starting to get a lot of, like, run support. I was watching something earlier that said that Mariners batters are averaging 5 pitches per at bat the last series against the Reds.
Yep.
And the only player that has been averaging 5 pitches per at bat the entire season so far was Mike Trout, and he's at 4.4, and he's in 5th place for amount of pitches per at bat.
Yeah.
The entire Mariners staff was at 5. That's insane.
Would you say that's low or high?
I would say that's high because they forced the starting pitchers out, which is why we're seeing the starting pitchers gain less points. They're pitching more, they're getting more hits, they're getting more walks, they're getting stressed out, they're getting exhausted. They're losing value fast. But then you have pitchers like Hook, who pitched for me yesterday. I think I'm saying his name right. I hope I'm saying his name right. He went the entire game.
Yes. That was today.
He pitched 9 innings for 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, not a single earned run.
No.
So, I mean, like, there are some starting pitchers that can hang on. It can do pretty good if they pitched low pitch counts. But like last year, the high pitch counts are yielding to more starter turns, more bullpen time. And some of the bullpens just aren't very strong right now.
No, they're really not. And it's annoying, too, because those that are supposed to have nails for bullpen don't have shit for a bullpen.
Yeah.
And then you look at the A's, where they're like 4th or 5th place in their bullpen. For some reason, right now, they're in like 5th place, their bullpen is.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I pull up standings right now for the league, the Oakland Athletics are 8-11, so they're fourth in the AL West. They're 2 games behind the Mariners right now, or 2 games behind the Texans, the Rangers. The Astros are 6-14, so they're not doing very hot. Yeah, take that, Astros. And the Marlins and the Rockies are 4-15. They're worse than them, but the worst team in baseball right now is the Chicago White Sox, 3-15.
I don't mean to say this, but MLB has a hard on for the Astros, and they picked them to win all of it again, and I'm so glad to see them at the bottom of
They
the board.
picked them to win it.
Yeah.
They're
So for the last we're what, week 3 now? Right? Week 3? They were, you know how they released their MLB like power, whatever the hell you
yeah,
were
I
going to
saw
call
that.
it.
Was
right?
that did they call it the
They're-
Astros? I didn't read it all the way.
It was they've been in first place every single all the way up until this week,
What?
even though they were losing.
That's backwards. That is backwards.
And the Athletics, they had still at 30th when they're clearly winning. Like, they're not doing that great, but they're doing better than anybody would have thought.
I mean, I'll give it to ESPN. I'll give it to Fox and CBS. They've been doing this a lot longer than you and I have, but we also care more about other different kinds of trends. And I don't think the Astros are going to go all the way this year, especially when you got teams like the Diamondbacks that are hitting pretty hard and are going to the fences, or actually getting pretty good hits and getting on base repeatedly. The Braves, they're doing a really solid job of knocking around every team that they're coming against. The Dodgers are looking solid, but then the Nationals were taking them over the last couple of days. So it's too early in the season to tell. It really is. But I don't think the Astros have what it takes this year to go very far.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is we'll see.
But
because the entire season is defined in the last 53 games or whatever it is.
From 100 games on, that's the wild card race. That's where it really happens.
Yes.
And like back to fantasy for a second. Let's get off the regular season stuff.
That's for a different start. Sorry.
We're gonna come back to that. Don't worry. We're gonna come back to that. But like currently, me and Rose are tied for first place in the analog era, with you and Shane at 1 and 2. So like just opposite win losses. Ethan's number 1 entire league so far, and then the rest of the digital era is 1 and 2. So if Ethan had actually lost last week's game like he was predicted to lose, he would have actually been equal record with, I believe it was going to be MVP. Is who he beat, right?
I think so. That was the first one.
Yeah. So like if he had beaten MVP, they would have been tied like you and I are. So they would have had similar records. So we'll see. No, it was Mirith. It was Mirith that took that game, right? That's right. Mirith would have been 0-3 if she had lost. So.
Yeah, because she did.
Which, I mean,
somehow
831 to 730. That's not a very big gap, but it's a pretty decent gap for the amount of points that were earned. And if we look at like predictions for this week, let's just put it out there now. When we're looking at who's doing what, like, do you remember your predictions from earlier this week?
I thought you said you wrote them down.
I did. Do you remember your predictions from earlier this week?
No, but I know they're probably all wrong.
Okay. Well, you would bet that it was going to be Blue, Chris, the kid, yourself, and Ethan taking the win.
You got lucky.
I got lucky.
All I can say.
I got lucky.
Yes.
Game's not over, buddy. Like we said earlier, there's still 5 days of fantasy baseball to play this week, and there's a lot that can go on in those 5 days. But so, are you still sticking with your predictions?
100%.
Okay, so you're still going Blue, Chris, yourself, and Ethan?
Yes.
Now, I'm still sticking with Shane. I'm gonna go with me. I think I'm gonna walk away with this one against the kid. I do because there's a 110 point difference between me and him right now, and we got 4 games left to play. There's a lot that could
Did you
happen.
say
Yes.
did you say 110?
Yeah.
You need to double check your sheet again.
The current data of this week's game.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I have 128 or 148 points difference.
Yeah.
148. My bad.
You gotta update your sheet.
My bad. 148. I moved the point totals for a second so I can actually look at last week's scores and not have everything else next into it. So bear with me for a second. So I think I'm gonna beat the kid this week. So that'll put me at 3-1. It'll put him at 1-3. He'll come back
I'm
next week.
surprised that even happened.
I'm still waging money on you. Still think you're gonna beat Mirith because you are currently steamrolling, and that gap would have to close rapidly after the break day for her to catch up to you. That's like a
She'd have to score 150 points per day to catch up.
and you would have to score about 70 to give her that 80-point gap so that
Yeah.
she'd take over, which could happen. Not saying it won't, but an 80-point gap is a lot of points. And then with how like Rose and Ethan have been going back and forth with the break day tomorrow, we'll see what happens Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as everything rolls through. I honestly believe that Rose can take this victory from Ethan and shove him down to no longer being undefeated and having that one in the loss column. I think it's gonna happen.
Think so?
I think so.
Well, the thing is too, next week's matchups, better be right. That's all I could say.
Oh, are you looking at the prediction
I'm
scoreboard?
looking at next week, yeah.
The kid versus Shane, Mirith versus me, Ethan versus you, and then Blue versus Rose. Like that.
Well, I'm gonna lose. I'm losing that. I'm gonna lose. I've already got my money on not me.
You think Ethan's gonna take next week?
Yeah.
I mean, with how his team is playing, probably. But with how your team has been like doing pretty good this week, probably not. Like we'll have to see what the totals look like going into the end of the week to have a better idea of what that looks like. It puts you within a 21-point gap of Ethan. And it puts me 70 points, almost 80 points above Mirith. It puts the kid 110 over Shane. And then it puts Rose and Blue dead even almost.
Remember what happened last time when he said there was almost dead even, or it was just a little over? It never happened that way.
I know. I'm aware, but that's why it's called a prediction.
Well, your predictions are wrong.
I wasn't too far off with week 2.
You were way off with week 2.
Hang on. Let me do this. Let me grab this. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna go back to the week 1 predictions. Did I put them in here? No, I didn't. I didn't put week 1 predictions in. I should have. Week 2 predictions. I believed that Blue was gonna beat Mirith. Blue did beat Mirith. It was gonna be a 2-point difference. It was a 13-point difference. So I mean, it's close. I believed that Ethan was going to beat the kid, or Ethan was going to lose to the kid. The kid lost to Ethan by 40 points, so that one was off. I'll give you that. That one was off. I predicted that you and Shane were going to be a point difference. That was not a point.
You were wrong.
That was not a point difference. That was not a
No.
single point difference. That was a 220-point difference. That's it. That is by far pretty bad. And then I predicted that I was going to beat Rose by 70 points almost. Or by 60 points. I ended up beating Rose by 136. So I doubled that point gap. Proving your point that I was way off with the predictions. Fine. But if we look at week 3's predictions, Blue was supposed to lose to Ethan by about 30. Well, that's not 30. It's 140. That's pretty bad. The kid was supposed to beat Mirith by 22 points. the kid lost to Mirith by 100 points. So that one was the other direction completely.
All I can say is don't quit your day job and start trying to predict scores. just saying.
Shane was supposed to beat Rose. Rose beat Shane by 230 points. And then you were going to beat me by 6. Well, that 6 did not happen. I beat you by over 100. So, again, they're just predictions. It's year 1. Figure out how this algorithm is going to play and everything. And so far,
your algorithm's wrong.
Yes, that's fine. We can say it. The algorithm is wrong. Whatever. I'm okay. I'll admit it. I'm wrong. It's okay. But I'm trying. At least I'm trying, okay? Using math, predicted math, which I should have taken better probability classes, but whatever.
I'm glad you're not a math major. Math is not your strong suit.
My brain hurt in calculus, and there's no way I was going to take statistics.
You can't even math and say that they say what we're ahead by or you're behind by right now.
No comment. No comment. So this week is going to be interesting. This week holistically is going to be interesting. Everyone's accuracy has bounced up a little bit. Currently, when we look at the adjustment in who's predicted to be first, second, third, blah, 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 blah. Original first place, Shane. Current first place predicted is the kid, which is pretty phenomenal. Second place is going to be Ethan. Third place is moi. Fourth place is you. Fifth place is Mirith. Sixth is Blue. He hasn't moved. There's no change there. Seventh is Rose, and eighth is Shane. So first place to eighth place in a matter of 4 weeks, which is pretty bad. And Shane's team has lost 1,855 predicted fantasy points. He's lost more points in predictions than Blue did. And Blue was at a negative 1,800 last week. He's only at a 695 loss right now. So he actually gained back some points with how his team played, which is good.
If he was actually paying attention to his roster, though, it would look completely different.
Well, he has been paying a lot more attention. His accuracy went up from, if I remember right, it was like a 63 last week. It's a 71 almost right now, which is good. So he's increased by 8% of accuracy. And Shane's just dropping hard just because he's not paying attention to it. Whereas you are at a 75, I'm at an 80. I'm actually just barely under the kid's accuracy of an 80.6. I'm at an 80.1. That's not bad. Everyone's hovering about that 70%, that C grade. We got 2 B grade players right now, or two B grade managers.
D grade managers, actually.
And 80% is not a D.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the way below. My bad.
No.
My bad.
No, the D grade currently is Shane. He's got a 65%. That's just bad. Everyone else has about a C. We want everyone to be a B so we can have better accuracy. Realistically, I think this is going to be an interesting couple of weeks as everything plays out. You and I were looking at the week for games played. There's going to be, like you said, a bunch of 4-set series is coming up. Straight baseball. The points values aren't going to be the 500s. They're going to be probably the 8 to 900s, depending on how many pitchers are playing, how the rotations are going. We're going to see more starts, but they're capped at 12. So everyone's going to have to pay attention to what pitchers they want to pitch, what ones they don't want to pitch, to get those points out and be able to maximize that potential, which is kind of scary. I was doing the math earlier today. If every pitcher gets 60 points per start on 12 starts, that gives you 720 points. With 60 points per pitcher.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen. But if it did, it'd be insane because you'd have 720 points in just pitchers. And then the amount of batter points you could get over 1,000 points in a week. Those gaps go from this little big to this big real fast when an ace gets put in the hole. Is it still too early to tell who's going to who's going to come on top?
Still too early to tell.
I think with our predictions we've got, with how everything is going, how the league is going to be playing, we got a pretty good week ahead of us, and I'm excited to see week 5. I'm
We'll
ready.
see what week 5 looks like.
Yeah. Well, by week 8, so week 7 is the last week that everyone will have played each other,
and then we're on duplicates,
and then we're on to repeat matches, and that right there will tell us how the rest of the season could potentially go. Once we've seen every team, once we see how we match up with each other, it'll be a good idea. I think after week 7, we'll have a good idea of the last 2/3 of the season, and then we can kind of gauge it from there. Yeah?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
But when I play against the kid, I need to make sure I bench all of his good players.
Don't you dare.
Why not?
I give him
guaranteed win.
I give him full permission, even though he's your kid, to beat you up. And I'll even let your wife know to let him do it.
I gotta release all his players.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Get the 300s and 200 point guys. What would be funny is if I really did that and he ended up getting doing better than everybody else.
This is why the dad should never have access to the kid's account, because they will go in and mess with their kid the time of week play. Which, if I remember right, we'll go back to league real quick. I'm gonna pull up the schedule.
Week after next.
Is it week after next?
Yeah.
Oh, you've already planned this. You've already figured this out. You already know. Yeah. You already know when you're gonna try to mess with your kid's team. Yeah, it's week 7 that you play him.
Yeah.
If I see you winning by 400 points on day 1, I'm gonna know what you did.
If I'm winning by 400 points, I'll be very concerned. But now, if I'm winning by 800 points, then it's okay.
You are an evil person. You know that? You're an evil person. I just can't with you. I just can't. So next week we're gonna figure out how this goes. We're gonna talk about it again, like today, and we're gonna hopefully see some wins in both of our boxes there, and just say one more match down.
I'm gonna be. How many weeks do we got?
19 more after this one.
19 more. So I'm gonna be. 1-22. That's gonna be my record at the end of the year.
1-22.
1-22.
Well, you're currently 2-1 or 1-2
for now.
You think you're gonna lose to Mirith by the end of the week?
Yep, 100%.
You just said earlier you think you're gonna take the victory.
No, knowing my luck, that's not gonna happen.
So you're going with luck now. Okay. Well, everybody, tune in next week as we find out if Cooper's predictions are real, if he loses this match this week against Mirith, or if he comes on top and instead of being 1-22, he's 2-21. We'll find out as the season progresses. As this is Baseball Stats Nerds, and thank you for tuning in, everybody. Let's have a good night.